David, is there a good feel again about this All-Stars match, as there was last year? Is there any likelihood, Dave, that over the years it will be hard to sustain the rage, so to speak?
No, I don't think so. I think when you got a sporting event that's got context, the cultural diversity of the game, the Indigenous heritage of the game, the enormous amount that we're doing in the community, and then you got a contest, then people are going to turn out and see it. And last year, to the credit of the coaches and the players, they went out, and within the first 5 minutes we knew that they were going to play with intensity and passion, and it really made the whole event meaningful, and I think it's going to continue for many years to come.
Did you think at any stage before the game that it could be more like a bit of a game of touch footy? Was that a bit of a worry last year?
Certainly pre-season games. I guess if you were an NRL coach you would have been worried about injury, but the meaning behind the game got both sides interested in making sure that they played to the best of their ability, and there's been a flow on all year as people have talked about how much they enjoyed it.
All of All-Stars is an American concept in many respects. They do it in baseball, they do it in basketball, and it's massive over there and it's been around for decades. Is this going to approach something like that? Do you think that this will become the week of show of this game in this country?
Yeah, it certainly exceeded expectation for us in the way the fans voted for the teams, and again, more fans this year, over 50,000 got involved in that. The players have embraced the concept. The clubs have embraced the concept. There's some important community initiatives off the back of it, and all of that makes it very meaningful and a good opportunity for us at the start of the year to highlight what the game's all about.
No secret about the battle between the NRL and the AFL, but one of the things that I've read in the past is that the AFL have always had a bit of a jump about how they've embraced the Indigenous community, but you guys, obviously with this, you're making up ground very fast from what I'm reading.
Yeah, and it was always a bit of a misconception, but I think last year we knocked some of that for six and showed that in our game, Indigenous players are very important right now and have always been important in the game's history. This has been an opportunity to celebrate not only the great players in the current game, but the heritage of Indigenous players in rugby league.
And yes, we saw the superstars of the game here, and obviously you've come from Western Sydney, now you come up to the Gold Coast, which is another front line of between the two codes, and so you can't do much better than have these guys turn out and play a game of footy of rugby league this weekend.
Yeah, and these guys are heroes in their community. One of the things I've been saying for some time is that rugby league's the game that can turn local kids into local heroes. We don't operate a draft system, and you're going to see guys play next Saturday night who are genuine heroes in their community, grew up in their community, and that's something for kids to aspire to.
David, how'd you go? How was yesterday's meeting with the Brisbane bid team?
It was good to put some faces to the media stories that I'd been seeing, and obviously they're very keen. We know the strength of the game in Queensland. We know the population growth that's projected for the area. So there's a lot of merit to having another team in Queensland at some point, but we need to assess the impact on our existing 16 clubs, make sure that we can afford it, make sure that they've got a sustainable model, and that'll be a decision that we look at over the next few months.
You may have been asked this before, but when would you envisage that we could possibly see a second team in Brisbane? Are we talking about 5, 10, 2?
I think the game's got to continually review the question of expansion, and what I've been saying for some time is by about the middle of 2011 we should be looking towards whether 2013 would be an appropriate time. If it's not, then we will obviously continue to review that decision in the years ahead. But I think that's the first opportunity with broadcast rights coming up, more money coming into the game. That's really the first opportunity to consider expansion in our competition.
As CEO of the National Rugby League competition, you must be thrilled to see that there's so many consortiums out there that want to put their hand up and say, bring us a team.
Yeah, it is exciting that the competition's got that level of interest, people champing at the bit to get involved. We need to be careful about the impact on our existing clubs and our existing players. We want them to be earning more money before we move to expansion, but it's certainly exciting to think about where the game might be in the years ahead.
And just along those lines, Suncorp Stadium, to have a game there every weekend, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh, certainly Queensland has got a lot going for it, and indeed Brisbane. The opportunity to play more local derbies between Queensland teams has got a lot going for it, not only in crowds but in terms of television ratings, and opportunity to showcase our game to sponsors.
What was the thing that impressed you about their model? Can you sort of give us something, a couple of throw us a bone? What you liked about it?
Well, I can't knock their enthusiasm. I can't knock their idea that to have the Broncos playing against another Brisbane team will bring Brisbane people out in force and that would be exciting in our competition.
Have you got a meeting lined up with Brian Canavan soon enough, or is he?
Yeah, look, I think the Ipswich guys would know that this puts some pressure on where they're up to. They've got some work to do, but so do these guys that I've just met yesterday.